In this modulo, I am going to explain how to solve the transportation problem using by Vogels Approximation method. So, I am going to explain with this example. This is called as row, first row, second row and third row. These are the sources are available. Okay. A, B and C are three columns. If each row are sources, you will have some supply. If each column or destination, you will have some demand. We proceed. Just see or check whether it is a balanced transportation problem or unbalanced transportation problem. Okay. Now just see the demand 80 plus 100 plus 120 is equal to 300. Just see the supply 120 plus 80 plus 100 is equal to 300. According to this problem, here total demand is equal to total supply. So it is a balanced transportation problem. With these examples, we can proceed. Now let us see the Vogels Approximation method. Before we solve the problem, we need to identify the row and the column difference. How to find out the row difference? First select the least cell in the first row. 8 is the least cell. Which one is the next least cell? 12 is the next least cell. Next least value. Now find the difference between these two values. 4. In the same way, we need to identify row difference and the column difference. Each row or each column. In row 2, which one is the least value? 10 is the least value and the next is 12. Now find the difference between these two values, that is 2. In row 3, which one is the least value? 5 is the least value and the next least value is. Now find the difference between these two values, that is 3. These are the values is called as row difference. Now we find two column difference. So which one is the least value in column 1? 12 is the least value and the next least value is 17. Now find the difference between these two values, that is 5. In column 2, which one is the least value? 5 is the least value. The next least value is 8. Now find the difference between these two values, that is 3. In the same, which one is the least value? In column 3, 8 and the next least value 12. Now find the difference between these two values, that is 4. The next step is select the maximum penalty. These values called as column penalty. Now find the maximum penalty among these values. Which one is the maximum value? 5 is the maximum value. 5 occurs in column 1. Now find the cell with the least value. This cell least value. So I am select this cell. Now we need to compare demand and supply. Demand is 80, supply is 120. Which one is the least value in this particular cell? 80 is the least value. So just allocated here. And subtract here, you will get 0. And subtract here, you will get 40. This column is 0 now. So delete entire column. Then after this, in the rest of the cell or unoccupied cell, again we need to identify the row difference and column difference. So again in row 1, which among these two values, find out the row differences. So which one is the least value? 8 is the least value, and the next least value is 18. Find the value is 10. In row 2, which one is the least value? 10 is the least value, and the next least value is 12. Now find the row difference, that is 2 is the row difference. In row 3, which one is the least value? 5 is the least value, and the next least value is 8. Now find the difference between these two values, that is 3. But this column is 0, no, so put dash. In column 2, which one is the least value? 5 is the least value, and the next least value is 8. So now find the difference between these two values, that is 3. In column 3, find the difference between two least values, that is 4. Among values, now we have to identify the maximum penalty. 10 is the maximum penalty. 10 is the penalty in row 1. Now find the cell with the least cost in row 1. This cell is the least value, so I am select this cell. Now we need to compare demand and supply. Demand is 100, supply is 40. Which one is the least value? 40 is the least value. Just allocated here. And subtract here, you will get 0, and subtract here, you will get 60. This column, this row is 0, no, so cancel entire row. Here, one row and one column is over. Now we have only 2 rows and 2 columns with unoccupied cells. So again we need to row difference, column difference. In row 2, which one is the least value? 10 is the least value, 12 is the next least value. Now find the difference between these two values, 2. If 5 is the least value, the next least value is 8. Now find the difference between these two, 3. Here put, because first row is 0. In the same way, again we put dash in column, but here find out the difference between these two values. We get the difference is 5. In column 3, find out the difference between these two values, that is 8 and 12. We get the difference is 4. Among these values, that is row difference and column difference, we select the maximum penalty, that is 5 maximum penalty occurs in column 2. Now find the cell with the least value. Select this cell. Now we need to compare demand and supply. Demand is 60, supply is 100 of this particular cell. So which one is the least value? 60 is the least value, just allocated here. And subtract here, you will get 0, and subtract here, you will get 40. This column is 0, no, delete second column. Finally, we have only one column. Now find the difference, column 3 only. Difference, these two values, that is 4. Okay. Now find the cell. This is maximum penalty occur in column 3. Now find the cell with the least cost. 8 is the least cost. 8 is the least cost. So I am select this. Now we need to compare demand and supply is 40. Demand is 120. 40 is the least value. Just allocated here 40 and subtract here, you will get 0. Subtract here, you will get 80. Finally, we have only one unoccupied cell or rest cell. So, in unoccupied cell, total demand is equal to total supply is equal to same. So, 80 allocated here. And subtract here, you will get 0. And subtract here, you will get 0. Okay? So, you won't get any balancing figure here. So, it is a balanced transport because total demand is equal to total supply. All entire row and the entire column is exhausted. So just multiply the value with the cell value. That is transportation 80 into 12 plus 40 into 8 plus 80 into 12 plus 60 into 5 plus 40 into 8. Just to find the value, total will be the rupees 2,860 rupees. In the same given problem, if you solve the northwest corner cell method, then you will get the total transportation cost 2,920 rupees. Or if you solve the matrix minima or least cost method, then you will get the transportation cost 3,140 rupees. But in Vogels approximation method, the total transportation cost is 2,860 rupees. Among these transportation cost, the Vogels approximation method is 2,860 rupees. Finally, we conclude that the Vogels approximation method is very close to optimum in initial basic feasible solution. Okay? Thank you.